Hi everyone, thank you for taking the time to join our webinar on KTern Accelerated S4HANA Assessment. My name is KTern and I am the Portfolio Manager for KTern, the all-in-one product for S4HANA conversions designed to automate and manage system conversions from start to finish. A few things to note before we get started. We'll be sending out a link to the recording of the webinar to everyone who has registered. It will also be available on our website at a later point in time. All participants have been muted upon entry, so please ask your questions via the questions tab and we'll address them at the end of the webinar. The speakers for today's webinar are Rajagopal Srinivasan and Vignesh Bharani. Rajagopal is the practice head for S4HANA conversions with over 12 plus years of expertise and is the product champion for KTern. Vignesh is one of the project engineers of KTern and will run through a demo of the product today. In this webinar, we'll cover when and why ECC customers should move to S4HANA, the conversion path, and the difficulties faced during the conversion process, followed by an overview of KTern and how it is used in an assessment project. Finally, we'll walk you through a demo of KTern with respect to the discover phase. Now, without further ado, I'll hand over the webinar to Rajagopal.
Thanks, KTern. Greetings to everyone. See, in the late 60s, enterprise has adopted the large-scale mainframe computers and seen value of industrial automation. So large mainframe computing adoption has happened, emerging of PCs, planned for automation has happened during the 60s to 80s. Then the industries realized the business process automation in the internet era by deploying ERP solutions and process, where broadband internet played a major role, which happened between 90s to 2000, sorry. Yeah. I'm sure everyone in this virtual lobby has personally experienced the cloud era where smartphones, cloud computing, social networks, and big data played a major role in the digital transformation. Still, it is evolving with machine learning technologies, IoT, and AI big time. If any enterprise would like to keep up in the market, then one must quickly adopt these technologies. But to adopt, your enterprise needs to be in the digital core where these technologies works natively. I would say the digital era is evolving into the intelligent era now. Compared to the emerging competition, you might be running in slow motion. What if you could run better and faster with low risk? So how to achieve that? So you can redeploy the limited resources towards customer value, eliminate technology hurdles that create business challenges, empower every employee to make faster and better decisions. Deploy the power of AI to differentiate your business model, drastically reduce IT cost. In traditional ERP, you record your data, process it, see results in reports. But with intelligent ERP, integrate data via IoT with ease, leverage business networks, integrate with SAP cloud platforms, and scale up quickly. You can automate, streamline your business processes, and have exceptional based control, leverage digital assistance with the machine learning. Unlike traditional ERP, users will not have just reports, but deep insights into actions, real-time KPIs, predict, and can simulate. Few more business benefits customer will get out of S4HANA, which helps to build your own business case, which is predictable revenue and improved customer satisfaction, reduction of inventory, improved manufacturing throughput, improved operational efficiencies at low cost, improved uptime and asset utilization. The statistics shown here about the customer mindset to migrate to S4HANA from the PwC. See, the customers who has already migrated to S4HANA is about 20% of the entire SAP install base. So by 2019, 17% of the install base will be migrated to S4HANA. By 2020, 32%, and 2025, 13%. The 18% of the install base would be not relevant or not compatible, or the people would obsolete the existing ERP versions and they go for an greenfield implementations. An enterprise must innovate faster and deeper, prepare themselves by moving to digital core, which is S4HANA, where this framework opens up the door for edge products will work synonymously. So it's recommended to move now. See, the enterprise must avoid the rush effect due to following reasons. 2025 is the linchpin year. SAP customers are going to wake up in 2022 or 23 and rush to SAP S4HANA. So the Gartner predicts a severe shortage of SAP consultants during this period. Shortage means increased price, tighter deadlines, and more pressure. Yeah. So we would like to have a quick poll now. Can you able to see the poll here? So what do you think is the key challenge in S4HANA migration? So in our last webinar, most of the customers has selected the large number of customization that has been accumulated in their ERP system over a period of time since implementation. Okay, so we as SAP partner will go through series of tasks that would help accomplish the objective of each phases in the activate methodology, which we strictly follow for the S4HANA conversion from the ERP system. So here I have listed the top 6 challenges that our conversion team has experienced during our previous project. So to start with the S4HANA readiness assessment, effort estimation, resource mapping in the discovery phase. And the key success of any project would be the project team enablement. So before even you start the conversion project, the team should be enabled with the conversion roadmap and the tasks that have to be executed during the project timeline. And custom code analysis and adoption in the explore phase, test and defect management in the realize phase, and the data validation during the deploy phase. The big challenge is to validate the migrated data from ECC to S4. So how to make sure the accuracy of the data? In traditional methods, technical people run few BAPIs in the source system and the target system. The source system could be the ECC and the target system is S4. Consolidate that in an Excel sheet with VLOOKUP. So validation that too many only samples of data. So it will take weeks if you want to do that for 100% of data. Imagine if a customer has a database size of more than a TB, it could have take months. So now I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Vignesh, how KTern can take up these challenges and make the conversion process very efficient and ease. Over to you, Vignesh.
Thanks a lot, Raj. Thanks for your insight about the history of SAP and the challenges that awaits anybody who's planning for S/4HANA migrations. And hello, everybody. This is Vignesh here. I'm one of the product engineers from KTern. So before I could begin, I'd like to ask a question. There will be a poll posted on your screen before, which would say, do you think a product is required to take control of S/4HANA conversions? A straightforward question, which with a yes or a no. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for answering. And the results are obvious. 80% of the respondents have said yes, that there is a need for a product to take control of S/4HANA conversions. Here I am introducing the product for S/4HANA conversions, an all-in-one product conversion suite. There is this misconception that S/4HANA is the destiny for any ERP, but believe me, it's not the case. S/4HANA is the beginning of your digital transformation dream. We are talking about a dream that will transform your enterprise technically, functionally, and technologically. Now, for this dream to be a reality, it is obvious that there's got to be some sweat shedded, a careful planning is required, and a controlled execution is needed. And for this to happen, here's what we have built for you guys, KTern. KTern is an accelerator which bridges the gap between the customers and the system integrators, provides transparency, increases the collaboration, and helps you achieve your S/4HANA dream in a more breezier way. It is first of its kind. I would say that because it has got every module to facilitate any S/4HANA project, be it conversion or an implementation. And the X factor would be our decades of experience in understanding SAP projects, multiple SAP landscapes, and obviously the S/4HANA experience. We accumulated the issues, we learned the issues, and we created a deep learning framework, a continuously learning framework that will understand and associate an issue with a module, with a process, and with a relevant SAP node. That way, we built something called the HANApedia, the Wikipedia of HANA on the S/4HANA, which will allow you to manage and auto-recommend issues as and when you create them. The project management framework underneath this product will help you control your entire S/4HANA projects, right from planning, scoping, signing off, project team management, user enablement, training, testing, data management, and so on. Here I've got the conversion challenges which most of the customers and the system integrators face during a conversion project. Complexities of the landscape, customizations, non-harmonized business processes, custom code management and remediation, test planning and remediation, stakeholder identification, who should I approach for sign-offs, and how do I enable my end users, because end user adoption determines the success of any ERP project. If the end user says no, the entire project is a no. So we got to manage the end user adoption as well. And what about the change management strategy? What if there is a change in the business, or how the entire ERP was working? So these are the challenges for which KTern has got the solutions for you. We typically built 12 main modules, which will cut across the entire Activate phase. We follow the Activate framework, which is the best recommended by SAP. The discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. So these Activate phases will help you control your entire S/4HANA project. And based on these phases, we built 12 main modules. the impact analysis, the roadmap guide, effort estimation, training launchpad, license audit and optimization, business process optimization, landscape and system management, issue tracking and management, custom code management, data management, project management, and test suite. Name a business case, and we will have it covered in one of these modules. And for assessment, for the challenges which we were talking about, there is this need for the enterprises to understand their current landscape and check their readiness if they are actually ready to move to S4HANA. And that's when KTern's qualified package solutions come into the play. Yes, KTern has been qualified by SAP in the Move Partner Package program, and we have named it KTern Accelerated S4HANA Assessment. And during this assessment, we will be providing you the modules, the impact analysis, the roadmap guide, and the effort estimation embedded with the project management framework so that you can understand and almost visualize your S4HANA dream before you even start that. So what is the difference between KTern and all the other modules? Like I said before, a report is a read-only document which gets provided to you, but that's not what an enterprise would want. An enterprise would want their facts and figures transformed into actionable insights. That's what KTern does during the impact analysis module. It will understand your landscape, it will read every parameter required for S4HANA conversion, and it will provide you with a report along with actions which will help you have the complete grip and control over your S4HANA transformation project. It has got the automated data validation, like how Raj mentioned. It has got auto test case recommendations. Of course, in Discover, it is all about the business value and the impact of S4HANA. But when in the later stages of the project, it becomes testing and only testing. So for this testing to happen, because SAP S4HANA will bring in a disruptive change, a positive disruption that will transform your enterprise. There's a change in the database, there's a change in the application structure, there's a change in how the business processes were running. So which means there has to be an end-to-end disruptive testing that will help you feel comfortable when you move to S4HANA, for which KTern will help you recommend the test case scenarios and possibly the stakeholders as well who would take part in that particular UAT testing. We've got the custom code remediations, like how the poll results said, most of them opted for large customizations as the major challenge moving to S4HANA. Obviously, it is a challenge because there is a technical change happening, and this change is disruptive enough to stop your custom code from working when you move into S4HANA. So there is this need to convert or remediate all these customizations and make it work on S4HANA, for which we've got the custom code remediation, which would automatically make the changes and capture them in a transport request and make them work in S4. And obviously, like I said, there is this underlying project management framework, which will help you create tasks, issues, events, test cases, risk factors, everything. And this analysis is what would drive the success or the failure of any S4HANA project. And here I present you the assessment package using KTern. And this is configured for success because we aim to have a successful S4HANA transformation journey. And for that, a clear understanding of the landscape which we are transforming and the analysis and its readiness is required. And this is all result driven. By results, I mean every line item of the report will be driven into actions which people can perform against it. And we have the collaboration lab where we bring in the system integrator, the customer, and the business users as well into one place so that they can collaborate on a change which would impact their business. And this enterprise transformation designer will allow you to transform your business and create a roadmap, a sustainable roadmap for the coming years. Here we present the S4HANA objectives covered using KTern. And here I present you the difference. Typically, what would happen is a foreign object or an OSS node gets installed in your system and a report runs, and in the end you get a document which requires a consultancy flavor to understand and analyze what that actually means. It is more of a technical document with which the business will never be able to take a decision. But what KTern actually does is that it connects to your system. It doesn't need any OSS node or a plugin or any foreign object in your production landscape. It remotely connects with your landscape and gets you the results. And the consultancy flavor is brought up as part of the product itself so that it actually talks the business language and not the technical language. And like I said, the fit gap analysis workshops would require an on-site offshore travel approach, which can be minimized using KTern, and a collaborative platform will enable remote communications between the teams. This prolonged process will create an extended or a stretched out timeline to come up with a roadmap or an effort. But with KTern's machine learning algorithms and the business rules which we have prepared, and along with the data sets which we have come across so far, we will be able to approximately provide a roadmap as well as an effort required for this project to happen based on your impact analysis results as well as few other parameters which we analyze from your landscape. So without further ado, let's get started into the product with what KTern provides in the part of S/4HANA assessment. We get the simplification item impact, the custom code analysis, the business process analytics, the add-ons, the business functions, the HANA sizing report, the user profiling, the Fiori app recommendations, everything which is a need of any customer or an IT manager who is planning for S/4HANA transformation. Now let's just get started with the KTern demo. So here I am in the modules launchpad of KTern, the project launchpad. Like Raj said before, by 2023, all the conversion expertise would become a factory model, which means there will be a huge demand arising for the SAP consultants to enable the S4 conversions which take place. And here's where KTern comes in, helps you transform multiple SAP S4HANA projects in a single launchpad. And let's just launch the system conversion launchpad. And here we get into the workspace designated for this logged in user who gets to know what are the tasks, what are the issues, what are the test cases he might have to face. And let us not get deeper into this particular page because there will be subsequent webinars coming up in this webinar series which would cover the project management features and the testing features. Because this is about planning your S/4HANA journey, let's dive straight into the discover phase. I would typically call this phase kernel as the heart of KTern application. It has got every phase: discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, run, in the form of an execution panel where you have multiple subphases and tasks under each of these phases. Like you can see, there is three main subphases, which comes in as part of the assessment project. The strategic planning, which is all about the value S/4HANA brings into the system, and the innovation planning, which has to happen. The application value and scoping is the crux of the entire assessment project. Here's where we determine the complexity and the effectiveness of your landscape when moved into S/4HANA. So let's see what KTern has got with respect to this particular discover phase. And looks like I've got multiple parameters to be analyzed or acted upon, for which I have an action button. So let's just get started. Okay, so here we have the simplification item checks. So before I could begin, I would like to let you guys know how KTern connects with your landscape. So we got the landscape management, where you will be able to create or add your own systems, and all we do is to allow you to download a connector on your desktop. With this connector on and with the system connected, you're good to go. And here's how KTern gets connected to an ERP landscape and not with any of the OSS nodes or a BC set or any foreign object gets into the system. And this is how we make sure any IT manager doesn't get insecure about importing a foreign object into their production landscape. So let's just go back to the phase kernel, where we would execute multiple line items and see what they mean during an S/4HANA transformation project. Simplification items. For anybody who is talking about S/4HANA, simplification item would be the main thing that comes up to their mind. Yes, there's a huge and lots of simplifications S/4HANA has gone through, which means the amount of simplifications would mean the higher the amount of simplification, the higher the impact. So which means higher the complexity of the project. So here we can see the total number of simplification items present to that of the number of relevant simplification items and the non-relevant simplification items. All we would be concerned about is the relevant simplification items. And coming down a bit, I'm able to see the status of each of the simplification items with an equivalent status label attached to it. I would be concerned about something which says functionality unavailable, no equivalent exists, for which I should either approach SAP or act on that or find a workaround around this. So it's not just a statistical report. Coming down a bit, I get to have an entire list of relevant simplification objects present in my landscape. And it is being cut across the line of businesses for your ease, so that you can assign a functional or a business SME against each of these objects. For example, business partner approach. That is something which totally disrupts the entire business for any enterprise, for which all you got to do is select the items for which you want a consultation or a deeper research, go up again, create a task, and you can see the description getting populated against the items which you get selected. So you can allow people to create tasks and have people assigned to each of these items. And that's how we have groundbreakingly embedded the project management framework along with the report. That's what an action-driven report and an insight is what the enterprise would look for, and not a read-only or a statistical document. And obviously, you can probably have this get downloaded in the form of an Excel sheet for your reference purposes. And this is about simplification items. Then we have got the add-on analytics. Typically, most enterprises will undergo customizations, and the customizations would be in the form of any kind of third-party licensed add-ons for ECC. I mentioned the word ECC because these add-ons would typically run on an ECC application structure and not an S/4HANA application structure, which means those add-ons could go incompatible. Imagine a case where an enterprise hugely depends on a third-party add-on, and if that add-on goes incompatible, it means there is a showstopper for the entire conversion project, for which you gotta analyze your add-ons and check their usage and also confirm their compatibility with respect to S/4HANA. And that's what KTern does by checking your add-ons, getting your add-ons installed in your landscape, also with the vendor type, so that you can act on those add-ons. If in case there is a third-party add-on installed in your landscape, you can approach that vendor to come up with a newer licensed version for S/4HANA. And that way you can plan ahead of these risk factors even before starting your S/4HANA project. So with add-ons being said, here comes the business functions. There are industry-specific business functions which are yet to come up with respect to S/4HANA. If there is some IS-specific function which goes incompatible, because the sum tool which converts your ECC to S/4HANA will automatically turn off few of the business functions it has got. If, God forbid, your business functions, your active business function is one of them, it means the business function will not work in S4. And this could mean serious trouble if there is a business dependency on that particular business function. So here's when KTern's business function analytics comes in, helps you understand your active business functions And it will also recommend about the compatibility of these business functions so that you can act on them. And we have something which anybody would want to know about, the customizations. We've got the custom object analytics. This custom object analytics is where KTern will get into your system, possibly retrieve all the customizations. Looks like I've got 25,000 custom objects in my system. This includes forms, objects, data domains, data elements, Adobe Forms, interfaces, every Z or Y object present in your landscape. It will get analyzed against our KTern database, and it will provide you with the usage as well as the frequency of it, as well as the priority or the importance of it. And that way, you'll be able to have an insight on where the customizations happen. And these customizations are the ones which will get hugely impacted when you move to S4HANA. And this will let you plan your custom code remediation and work on that and allocate the technical ABAP as required for that. So coming further down, I get a summary of each of the custom code type along with the count. Looks like I've got 6,895 report programs or a transaction program running in my system. Looks like that is a heavily customized system for which the effort estimate should be considered about this particular number. And I also get all the customization objects in my system along with the ABAPers or the technical consultant who's linked up to it, so that they can work on it if in case there's a customization remediation required. And we do provide custom code impact analysis. The previous one which we saw was custom code object analytics, which talks about customizations in general, but we do provide something called custom code impact analysis, which means KTern will be able to tell you what are the custom codes that will get impacted in your landscape, provide a header information of who created it, how is its usage, and what are the impact cases and what are the available solutions. And coming further down, as part of the custom code remediation, we fetch you the entire custom code program on the screen and highlight on the impacted line item present in it with a pop-out saying what it is, why it has to be remediated before moving to S4. In this case, we have a sorting happening without we have a search happening without even the table getting sorted, for which S4HANA performance would tremendously get affected, for which KTern has provided an auto remediation solution, which you can see on the right side of the menu, where it gets sorted with a comment saying auto remediated by the logged in person, and it gets captured in a transport object. Likewise, so many business cases or the business rules get impacted, and all these business rules can be remediated using KTern's custom code remediation engine. So furthermore, we've got the BW extractor checks. Of course, there are ECC systems connected with BW solutions, and these BW data sources extract these data from the ECC application structure. So, like I said before, there's a change happening in the application structure itself. We have BSEC and MSEC getting into AC DOCA, and we have changes in the material MATNR fields, so that we are talking about changes in the database structure as well as the field structure, which means the data sources which is fetching data from ECC into your BW system will also get affected, for which we provide a check so that you can make sure if all the BW jobs that is running against your system will work fine when you move to S4. So this is what this screen says: if the BW extractor jobs will run fine, still run fine when you move to S4HANA. And we talk about the TR analytics. So typically, how a conversion project would happen is that it is a lift and shift approach, which means there will be multiple mock runs. We start with your sandbox, and then we get into the dev, the quality, the multiple mock runs, and the production run. which means we take copies of your production landscape. In that case, we learned about the impact of customizations with respect to S4HANA projects. So imagine a dynamic environment where the number of TR objects getting released into the production every month keeps increasing, which means there's no solid count on the amount of custom objects present in the production landscape. This could mean a serious disaster to the project health, since the custom objects are never ending, the custom code remediation cycles will go on and on and on, for which there's this term called the dev freeze, which has to happen, as well as the go live, which has to happen. Let's say you plan your go live 2 weeks hence, and there is a huge TR movement happening in your mainstream production landscape from your dev to your production. This could mean the amount of custom objects getting into the production landscape would increase. And if you plan your production go live 2 weeks hence, and those new custom code objects will never be remediated, which means they will never work as it was working in the production, which could mean a disaster to the entire project, for which we provide TR analytics. We predict your TR movement, and we call for a particular day to go for a dev freeze, so that you can halt your mainline production support for a week or so that the entire transformation happens, so that the custom code objects can then be moved later on. So with all these analyzed, we also talk about the test recommendations, where we analyze your landscape and we provide a catalog of test plans under which you have a test scenario, and these test scenarios could go on and on and on based on your customizations or your business process analytics, which KTern does against your system. And then each of these scenarios, we will have multiple test cases. So let us not get deeper into the test suite, since because it is a vast topic by itself, which we would cover as part of another webinar. Okay, I've got all these results. So what is the next step? Obviously, it is to build a business case around these results and come up with an approximate project timeline and an effort estimate. Yes, KTern will help you do that with this particular task item, which says present a roadmap for system conversion. So what typically would happen is that KTern will get these results, mash it up, understand the impact on it, and it will provide a roadmap which tells what has to happen when, with a clear-cut timelines and more of a Gantt view, which says when it has to happen, what is the possible start date, and what is the estimated go live. And it's not just the duration, but also an effort which would be required from the system integrator side as well as the vendor side, alongside the technical roles, so that the effort is near to accurate, so that this will help any customer or a system integrator plan their S4 conversions. So it's not just everything on the screen, but there is also a report which gets presented, so that the IT manager can take this up, all these results, to the business to get a business case and get a go for the project. So here we provide a presentation of whatever was studied and whatever we saw on the application in the form of a PPT. So this could be utilized for the presentation to the business to get a go for the entire S4HANA project. And before you even start the project, you know where the risks are, you know what will behave how, and you know what's the timeline, and you also know who has to execute and who has to be present and when. So here's a beautiful report which talks about the analytics which we saw on the screen in the form of a presentation. And it's not just that. This digital transformation is something which will remain forever, for which we also provide a documentation that could be archived for a future reference. This will cover every single line item, every single activity that happened against this particular system inside this project with a PDF report of every single activity that happened. We have the project team, we have the tasks that got run against this system, and the system information, the add-on analytics which we saw on the screen with the recommendations and with prompts with respect to their compatibility. It is a 126-page document which gets thrown out from the application so that this could be further archived. So I'd stop the product demo at this point, and I'll come back to the application here. And I'll just ask a question right now. So I hope a question will be posted on the screen now. Do you want a full guided demo of KTern? Because what we saw was the tip of the iceberg, because there is so many more features and functionalities which KTern has got. So we'll be happy to know if you'd be interested in a fully guided demo of KTern. Thank you, gentlemen, for answering your poll, and we'll be happy to get back on your responses. So the questions window is open now, and you can raise your questions in the questions tab, and we'll be happy to answer each one of them. Okay, there is a question with respect to custom code remediation, which says, will the custom code remediation happen in ECC or post-migration? It will happen post-migration, because post-migration system is the one which will have the S4 application structure, and the ECC system will only have the ECC structure. So it is recommended to have your custom code remediated post-migration. So how input these tasks, and automated or manual? So I assume your question was with respect to how the phase kernel was loaded with all the tasks. Yes, like I said before, KTern follows SAP's activate methodology recommended for S4 conversions. And when you create a project using KTern, it gets automatically created for you with a base template with which you can add your custom task or an issue or create your subphases as well. So to answer your question, the answer is yes, it is automated. The tasks are created automatically for you when you create a project. This solution can be used for S4H. So I believe S4HANA is the one we are talking about. And of course, the S4HANA, it supports S4HANA on-premise and as well as S4HANA public cloud applications. So how does this product help in greenfield implementation? Like I said before, these components are built focusing on the entire S4HANA transformation itself, which means greenfield is not an exception. We do support greenfield implementation projects. As you could see, the powerful project management framework will allow you to perform greenfield projects as well using KTern. And there is also a few questions with respect to subscriptions, which can be taken up as part of as a separate discussion. And there's a question about, after this assessment, what would happen? Typically, when these assessment results are projected, once they are converted into a project, the customers can still continue to use KTern with these results and can proceed towards getting the project application running. and getting it closed. Security guidelines and concerns. There is this question with respect to security guidelines and concerns. To answer your question, KTern has been qualified by SAP for S4HANA transformation project, which means it abides by SAP security and guidelines. So I believe these are the questions that have come up so far. So gentlemen, if there are any more questions that you would want us to answer, we'll be happy to address them. Okay, how long does it typically take for an assessment package? So the package comes in a t-shirt size model. We have segregated as small, medium, and large. It averages around 2 to 3 weeks, while the global average is around 6 to 8 weeks. So we have reduced it to almost 50% of it using the product, which will take care of most of these activities so that the enterprises can have their project getting kickstarted very soon as possible. So the packages comes up with an a la carte model where people can add up any of the services which they prefer during the assessment project itself. Okay, there is this question on the if whether this tool was used for other assessment projects. Yes, there's been around 10 projects, assessment projects, which we have done using KTern, and one of our prominent customers would be based out of US, who's had around 100 company codes for which we did the KTern assessment. Okay, gentlemen, yes, there's this question, would you advise to migrate from SAP or implementation? So this typically depends on the impact analysis results, which we run against your system in a form of an assessment study. And this would depend, a part could be from the impact analysis results, a part could be a stakeholder or a business decision directed from the CXO members of the customer who would prefer an implementation. There are multiple factors involved in it, but KTern would still recommend if an enterprise from in ECC should opt an implementation or a conversion, and it is attributed with respect to the total number of customizations present in your landscape, and if in case there is a business function present in your landscape which goes inactive, and so many other parameters. Yes. Okay. So the other question is, do you carry out projects end to end or supply the tool? Well, KTern is something built for both the partners as well as the customers. And we, as Car Technologies, being a pure play SAP services people, will be able to make use of this tool and while also providing an end-to-end conversion service as well, alongside the AMS support too. So to answer your question, we provide end-to-end services with respect to S4HANA. And if in case a partner would want to use the tool alone, of course, we provide that option as well, where we will provide the tool. There is this question which asks if KTern would answer me that why should I move to S4HANA? Yes, we've got the roadmap guide which will connect to your system. It will analyze your activated business functions and it will see your ING activity and it will compare it against the innovations present in S4HANA or the takeaways from S4HANA, and it will provide a roadmap guide which tells why should you move to S4HANA by line of businesses, by modules and functionalities, so that you get to understand what is the benefit which I would reap when I move into S4. Per se, asset accounting. Asset accounting is something which has been heavily optimized and heavily simplified in S4HANA, which could mean a huge customization with respect to asset accounting could be simplified when you move to S4HANA. There is this question which says, what is your presence in Middle East? What have you completed? What have you completed in S4 conversion so far? Yes, we are pretty strong in Middle East, where we have completed around 7 to 8 assessment projects, and there are 2 to 3 month conversion projects in talk, while we are executing 2 conversion projects in parallel, who's based out of KSA. Yeah. So if there are no further questions, we would like to close the webinar. And thanks a lot for your time. And if in case there is further more questions which you would like to ask us, you can email us, reach us out via email. And thanks a lot for attending. Thanks a lot for your time. Your questions are really helpful. And yes, thank you, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.